to my channel. Hey yo, listen up, yeah. Hey yo, the wireless woman.
You in charge of the girls, right?
I am in charge of the girls.
Are you in charge of the girls?
I am in charge of the girls.
Okay.
All right. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. Hey yo, Wi-Fi's, and welcome back to yet another transmission of the Wireless Woman. I am the Wireless Woman, and I need you to do me that favor on your way in and like this video. Why? Because when you like it, well, I love it. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And click the bell for notifications of when I go live and when I upload new content. Listen, y'all, you know this season I have been doing my online dating. I stopped. I said enough is enough.
You can't win.
I really believe that online dating is a haven. It is a place for narcissists and narcissism to thrive. I don't know. It isn't for me. And I mean, I cast my net wide. I really took a lot of um chances, a lot of leaps of faith, tried different things. You know, all the things that the Schmins have been telling us if we would open ourselves to would create success for us. Here's what I'm learning. Men don't date other men.
What's the matter with you? You don't like women? Huh?
Yes, that's it.
And therefore, I don't see how they can be an authority on how women should be approaching the dating process. They don't have any of the outcomes that we have from dating them. I'm just saying they can't get pregnant, they can't become single moms. And because as they say, they are the guardians of the galaxy, they are the keepers, the masters of marriage, you know, there's no loss on their part if relationships don't work out. I mean, in that respect, in a relationship's respect, because we know that while men are the guardians of marriage, women are the goddesses of divorce. Mm, mm. So while men do all the proposing, women initiate over 70% of the divorces. So, you know, I don't really feel like these men have the same vested interest in the success of the relationship part of things. Because once we get into these marriages with them, of course, it's all on us, whether we win, lose, or draw, whether we're successful or unsuccessful. So we have to seek a different type of partnership going into the courtship, dating part of the process. And women, we have to become much more vigilant and much more diligent amongst each other to develop the types of strategies that we need in order to get the results that we want from dating. I just don't care what anyone says. You know, these past couple of years have really showed us that we don't have the type of male allies that we thought we did.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
And here's the thing, I don't even fault male allies. I think a lot of men have tried from a very sincere place to be male allies, but how are you going to ask someone who's male identified to give the best advice to women that women need in order to have a successful outcome? Because like I said, these men don't date each other.
Yes, that's it.
So every man on some level is only just telling you what they like. I mean, that's what Derek Jackson was teaching us. His teaching was so accurate towards women about men because he was telling you what he knew. You know, he was like, listen, I'm a piece of trash. Here's how to spot a piece of trash man. I am street meat. Here's how to know if a guy is street meat. Does he do the things I do? Well, he's street meat. So my point in what I'm saying is he ain't got no dog in that fight. He told us all this advice, sold us all these lies, and now he's somewhere on a beach in Cancun with several women of his choice. So listen, I spent this past weekend in Myrtle Beach for Black Bike Week, and I got to be in real life with some men, and I gotta tell you, it was a totally different experience. And the wireless woman was born out of a lot of conversations and interactions that I was having with people in real life. And if you go back to season 1, long before I became jaded in these social media streets, you'll see a lot of conversations at that time that I was having about the fact that what was going on in real life really didn't mirror the things that we were seeing online. And baby, does that remain true to the day? Ooh, I had some really great in real life experiences. And here's the thing, these men were Black. And I've never really gotten heavily immersed in the biker world because, like, why? Why would I? Why would I? Hmm. But, these men had money, they had manners, they had a hierarchy of respect amongst other men, they had community. I mean, some of them needed therapy, I'm pretty sure. But I mean, just the type of like disrespectful, debasing, ranting that goes on amongst Black men on these social media streets. I mean, I don't know how many of them leave these events and then go log on and start spewing misogynistic hate speech, but in my real life interactions with them, several things came across that I'd like to share with you. One, a lot of these men enjoyed modesty, a modest woman. I'm going to do a whole separate video on that and what that means to me because who cares what these men think modesty is?
Your booze mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
But for some odd reason too, especially I haven't been used to it. I did a video on colorism and featureism. I also have one in my repertoire about texturism. And as a dark skinned, natural Black woman with somewhat Afrocentric features, I have been the brunt of a lot of discrimination. But baby, not last weekend.
But not today.
I felt like I had a spotlight on me, and it was really good to receive that type of feedback, that type of encouragement and support from your own Black male counterpart. Because, baby, the fish was jumping. They was jumping and they was biting. If I was the bait, baby, either things are changing or they're lying to us online. All throughout the whole entire weekend, I was never asked one time about body counts, about how many kids I had. Like, I think we are going to, as women, have to get back into the one-on-one interactions with men because a lot of these men that are in the online spaces talking all this mad, smashy trash about Black women are cowards.
Drop your sword.
They can't really encounter women and possess their souls in real life like they would like to. Yeah, because I had some soul snatching experiences, but it takes a whole different type of energy, a whole different type of man.
With great power comes great responsibility.
To step to you, to approach you, to communicate with you in a way that will allow y'all to make connections. A lot of these guys want to connect over texting and online situations because they're hoping that by the time they get to you in real life, they've already laid the groundwork with some good morning text in. Baby, for somebody to start at zero, see you across the room, have to approach you and bring, charisma and communication and really be able to spark a connection with you, especially in a situation where there's competition. Baby, let me tell you.
You know the game and how it goes. We try to get Jones.
So I'm going to give y'all a couple of anecdotes. I said I was going to keep my stories to myself because I don't want nobody in my personal business, but am I in charge of the girls?
I am in charge of the girls.
Are you in charge of the girl?
I am in charge of the girls. So I went to this one party. It was a Rough Riders party. And here's the crazy thing. This is how ignorant I am to the whole biker world. I didn't know the Rough Riders was a real biker gang. I mean, they started playing DMX.
Oh, no, that's how Rough Riders roll.
And I didn't even know this was the same thing. So the weather that weekend was horrible. The whole entire beach, it was washed out, raining, cold, cloudy, overcast, like just the worst weekend in history to be at the beach, okay? And because it's bike week, nobody was really able to ride their bikes and stuff like the whole weekend. It was cold. It was just horrible. Anyway, so me and my travel companion, we decided to, go to some of the events, some of the parties that they had. And most of them were like yacht parties and, beach parties and stuff like that, pool parties, rooftop parties that all got rained out. I don't even know what type of prospects I would have had if I could have had everybody outside at the same time. Because, baby, yes. Anyway, so I was at a Rough Riders party. And I came across another group of bikers. And so there were a lot of guys right in there together for reasons I will explain shortly. And so my colleague and I, we were just engaging a group. Listen, ladies, we used to be the ones that would travel in large groups. And I tell women, I don't suggest that you go out anywhere in a group of women that's larger than 3 women. Simply because men a lot of times roll in pairs. But if they do roll in a larger group, maybe make them compete. You don't want to be in a group of 6 women and then they choose 2 of y'all and the other 4 of y'all are just being bitter and salty. No. Go like we do in duos and trios, in pairs. And so, of course, we're engaging this group and watching the way that men make room for other men kind of lets you know which of those guys has the respect, if you will, of their peer group. And so sure enough, I end up with the guy who's a president of one of these biker clubs. And of course, at that point, he done marked me, so nobody else in the party is talking to me. I'm like, but my point in what I'm saying is, it goes to show a lot of us as women are trying to get chosen.
You know the game and how it goes. We try to get Jones.
And don't get me wrong, a lot of times men do the choosing. It's still up to us whether or not their choice is successful or not. But, as women, we're going to have to put and position ourselves in the places where we are being celebrated and appreciated because it's out there and it's available, and being in these spaces showed me that, like literally all weekend long. I was watching these men in some competitive spaces and the ones that rose to the top of that, because listen, guys be talking about Pookies and Ray Rays and stuff like that. These bikers, I hate calling them bikers because I feel like it's like, it takes away their like individuality, but I mean, it's bike week. I don't know what to say. A lot of them had money. Okay. And listen, I work in finance. So I know when somebody's finessing and when somebody is financed. I know when they're finessed or financed. And yeah, a lot of these men, they had at least the means to be able to have a disposable income. You know, I know when income is being disposed properly. If I can't assess nothing else, I can assess that. And the men who had the confidence, the men who had the communication skills, and the men who were competitive. Confidence, communication, competitive. They were the ones that had the money. They were the ones who had paid for the rooms. They were the ones who had the ability to get what they wanted in interactions with women. Yeah. So this in real life thing, I have spent the better part of this year just kind of in my own little shell, but I think I'm gonna go outside this summer. Yeah. And I mean, even throughout the weekend, there weren't just these surface level pick me engagements with guys. There was one group of guys that we met and we hung out with, and we ended up getting into a conversation about women and feminism and whether men should pay for things and all different types of stuff. And of course, there was that element. There were some dudes that were talking about how women should just shut, as one guy said, shut the fuck up and let men lead and get out of the workplace and go back home. Like, yeah. I didn't want to get y'all hopes up too high and make y'all think that, they was out here evolving and stuff like that. Cause no, there was still some one eyebrow having, knuckle dragging Neanderthal cavemen in that bunch.
Look at you. You're black, you're poor, you're ugly, you're a woman, you're nothing at all.
But I didn't notice how many of the men challenged that viewpoint, especially in some of these younger guys.
You're not niggas.
And they were like, yeah, okay, no. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and there were some very evolved men in these groups and in some of these conversations that we had that were like, the easiest thing a man can do is dominate a woman. Like, if we're really men and we're really leaders, why would we set our focus on subjugating our women when that should just kind of come natural? Like, there's so many other populations of people that we could be subjugating in order to show our dominance as men. So why would we turn that on our women? And bringing y'all close. Come here. Come here. Come here. Bringing y'all in close. I actually met somebody. And I don't know what it will be. And y'all know I did a video at the end of last year called Manifesting My Third Husband in 2023. And I don't know. I like this. And what was weird was I had a lot of defensive energy. One thing I found out about myself through this interaction with this particular man. One thing I love about a man is a man will show you what a man is, baby. Like, if you in the dark about it, if you done been surrounded by some boys.
So, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
A man will separate himself from the boys. But I was in a lot of defensive energy that actually shocked me. A lot of people talk about healing, and I've been on a healing journey for a very long time. I've learned how to communicate a lot of my frustrations. I've learned how to compartmentalize things that are my work that needs to be done. And people would say that, you just got to work on you, work on yourself, work on you. But let me tell you something. When red comes in contact with yellow, you get orange. And if you weren't practicing to be orange, that can be tough. When red comes into contact with blue, you get purple. And if you weren't practicing to be purple, there is going to be a composition change. There are certain challenges in how you work out communication and conflict with other people that can only be practiced within relationship with other people. You can be the perfect single person. But until you come into some conflict with other people, you're not really even sure if what you're working on is beneficial or not. I love self-care. I love self-accountability and having self-confidence. But we as women, when we're pulled out into these relationships and these interactions with people, especially in particular, that you do want to have deep connections with, that you are attracted to, or you are impressed with, you're automatically going to become self-conscious. You're automatically going to have a composition change. It's like someone dropping dye in water. It's going to change everything that you brought to the table and everything that you were working on. And you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I'm gonna tell you, baby, I was not comfortable with being that uncomfortable, and a lot of defensiveness came out. And it showed me two things. One, it showed me why a lot of these men are so aggressive. It's a fear aggression. And I have a video called Who's Your Daddy, where I talk about fear aggression and how it manifests like anger and defensiveness and all that different stuff. But the person's really just afraid. So I saw it in myself, and it helped me to have compassion for other people that I see it in. Like, really, there's some things from men that I have been reading as aggressiveness that now I'm recognizing could potentially be fear. But like they tell us, do the work, baby. Be accountable. Okay. I was very self aware in those moments of how I was coming off. And even though I didn't like it, I needed to see it. But two, it also showed me what the response of a real man is. Because, baby, let me tell you, the whole time I was giving this man gas. I was trying not to. This is that thing men talk about where women be like testing them. Like, I wasn't necessarily trying to test them. It's just that his presence and how he showed up as a man, it challenged me, And I had to get comfortable with that. But what I love about it was he gave me room to get comfortable. He was like, okay. And he stayed two things: patient and persistent. And he showed me the type of male consistency, the type of masculinity. There it is. I got divine masculinity out of him. Because, he was unmoved. He was undeterred from what his goal was. And at the end of the evening, he said that to me. He said, you gave me all that runaround, but I really just wanted to spend time with you. Now let's be real, women. In the back of my mind, I was like, this nigga just want to fuck me. That's what's going on. But when I tell you he was respectful, took his time with me, communicative, didn't put pressure on me or on the situation, and we just had lovely conversation, interaction, memorable. It was really impactful for me. And I think that a lot of men have to get involved in helping women do that type of healing work, because the goals that we both as men and women supposedly are supposed to have is deep, intimate, fulfilling relationships. And see, me personally, I don't keep a lot of male friends around me. There's been a lot of distrust and mistrust with mismanagement with the relationships in my life that I've had with males on both sides. A lot of men say they're nice guys, but they're actually just manipulative guys, and we as women have to discern that. But this is the type of masculinity that when it shows up, it makes room for the feminine. It invites the feminine. It inspires the feminine. And like literally, y'all, like if somebody had told me from the jump it was going to be him, I'd be like, nah. He seemed all right and everything, but no. He was so like cocky and arrogant. Like I was instantly just turned off by it. But like I said, once he got locked in on what his goal was, once he decided he was going to pursue me, he became singularly hyper focused on that. And like I said, these things that we talk about with men, like if they wanted to, they would, and all these different things, that's exactly how he showed up. To the point that, like I said, after a couple of hours, I had to give him my sword. I had to, y'all know I've been Kill Bill. I've been Beatrice the whole entire dating season, but I had to give him my sword. I had to be like, you know what? I don't even need this. completely useless here now. And I think that real men are disarming like that for women. And one of the things I could say is he was very respectful of the fact that I did have a guard. Because if I had been the type of woman that just showed up like, okay, yeah, that's great, I could have been for anybody. Been for the streets at that point. And so I feel like he felt like, and I'm projecting a little bit, but I feel like he felt like he had won a big prize in me because I wasn't readily accessible, if that makes sense. Real men love a challenge. And I learned that in several ways, like in the beginning when I was talking about modesty and things like that. Like when I tell you, we had a time last night. We had a time this weekend. And I look forward to continuing to chronicle my dating journey into a courtship journey. We'll see. And I will keep you posted, But definitely share with me what your experiences have been in this season. Because, baby, it felt like a Bridgerton debut season or something like that this past weekend. And it made me realize I need to get out more. What are you ladies doing? Are we going outside? Are we going to be outside this summer? Definitely put it in the comments. I mean, if you seeing what I'm seeing and you're feeling as I feel.
But if you see what I see, if you feel as I feel, and if you would seek as I seek.
So go ahead and drop that fire headphones emoji in the comments. I look forward to engaging with you there. Listen, in these online streets, mostly all the women have decided they ain't gonna date nobody. They gonna sit in the house and eat tortilla chips with salsa. They gonna Netflix and chill by themselves. And I'm telling you, for the women that are still courageous enough to get out here in these pool waters, I mean, yeah, they are full of piss. I ain't gonna lie to you. There's piss in the dating pool. There really is, but this in real life dating, I don't know. I done started looking at my itinerary to see where I could fit in some trips, maybe take some day trips during happy hour down to some of these hotel bars like Shira 7 been saying. I don't know. I might have to change my whole approach, change my game up because ladies, listen, it's out there. It's out there. And I never thought I would be the one to come and tell y'all that, but I think the internet got us fooled here. But like I said, I want to hear from y'all. But until the next transmission, y'all already know I'm your wireless woman telling y'all to clock out. Go ahead on, get lost.
Now this is your place, but I am in charge of the girls. You can just kiss my ass.